In 2015, the mammoth online employment hub LinkedIn agreed to pay $13 million to settle a class action lawsuit over sending emails to its members' contacts without explicit permission. By simply pressing this button, users would send spam emails to anyone they've ever emailed. This is an example of a dark pattern. Companies all across the globe use them to manipulate, control, and trick their users into doing what they want.
But first, dark patterns have always been a thing. Let's look at this example from 1988, the newspaper, which shows a Ryanair flight, but there's a hidden cost in the bottom, only shown in the fine print. This is an example of dark pattern, something hidden specifically to trick the reader into an unsuspecting cost. But this is only the tip of the iceberg. It gets a lot bigger from here. I mean, this was almost 40 years ago. With the rise of the internet, it really spiraled out of control. Let's take a look.
Now, I'm sure this comes as no surprise, there are hidden catches everywhere, but let's look at a more modern example, also coincidentally, perhaps, from Ryanair itself. Although what I showed before may be seen as just trickery, this is a common example, and one of the first, of a dark pattern seen online. You're able to buy travel insurance, and it asks you to please select a country of residence, and if you ignore this, choosing not to, it gives you an error asking you to please select a country of residence. And many users, hundreds if not thousands, believed that you had to click and buy some sort of travel insurance to proceed, but in fact underneath the drop down menu there was the option for no travel insurance required. This means it would be done intentionally with the purpose of tricking people into believing that they have to buy travel insurance in order to fly. No doubt hundreds if not thousands of people unwillingly clicked an option, their own country, and paid for the service without knowing that they didn't need to. So now that we know what a dark pattern is, why don't we take a look at some examples. The first of which is a sneak in the basket dark pattern, which is very common online. It consists of when you're going to buy a product and you go to checkout, the company or the website you're trying to buy from has added in an additional charge. The only way to escape this is to click the opt out, but many people don't realise this and accidentally spend this extra money. The more ethical way a company can go about this is by giving the user the additional option to add, in this case, a TV set up by experts for that cost. But many companies don't do this as they know people will forget to take away the additional charge and pay extra. Because the dark pattern is really nothing more than a user interface which is designed to exploit its users, it could even be argued that the very thumbnail on this video is a dark pattern, as it's trying to convince you that some sort of an error has occurred, so you click on the video. Now let's talk ads. You've probably seen hundreds, if not even thousands, of mobile ads in your time using a phone or a laptop. But let's take a look at this specific example. I'll set the scene. You have 3 seconds to click the X or you get taken to the site. 3, 2, 1. Oh, hard luck. Well, it's because the X is actually hidden above the ad, and the X inside the ad is completely fake. It's just designed to trick people into clicking on it. But those are quite surprisingly common. Let's take a look at a more outlandish example. This is what looks to be an Android Snapchat ad, and it's telling the user that to speed their phone up, they must swipe up, which of course brings up the install app option. Just absolutely senseless. But it does really make you wonder who's to blame, because if the ad companies in this scenario are paying per person that views the ad, of course they're going to be incentivized to trick people into downloading it. It would be different if the advertisers had to pay for every download. Then they would just want the people who are actually interested in the app. So it does show some negligence on the app's part, like Snapchat. But moving on, furthermore, the infographic created by Nerdwriter1 on YouTube describes dark patterns in such a way that they are features of interface design crafted to trick users into doing things they might not want to do, but which benefit the business in question. The person who coined the term dark pattern is Harry Brignall, and one of the definitions he created was roach motel, which is a design that makes it easy to get into a situation but hard to get out. And one of the most famous examples of this can be seen so easily by just going to your email and scrolling down, because there are so many examples of a roach motel. Companies don't want you to be able to escape their grasps, especially on an emailing list. So if we scroll down here, you can see that there is a bunch of junky text on the bottom, but there is the option to remove your email from the email list, but it's hidden. The text and link color are almost the same, making it almost impossible to identify. And one of the most common examples, and most famous, almost in fact, of a roach motel is trying to delete your Amazon account, as this hurts Amazon and they make it as difficult as possible to do so. You might assume that you would have to go to your account settings, and that would be able to lead you to being able to delete your account. But once you go there, there are a whole plethora of options, and because each link takes you to more links and more links, there are hundreds of options, a whole wormhole that you could go down here. But this is a dead end. There is no way that you can delete your account from this menu. What you've actually got to do is scroll to the bottom of Amazon.com, click on help, which isn't wholly obvious that this is how you would delete an account. Then click on need more help, and then click on contact us. Nothing here suggests that you'll be able to delete your account. Then you need to click on Prime or something else, and then scroll down, and under please make a selection, there's the option of login and security, which again seems to have nothing to do with deleting an account. And then there's the option to close my account. So hidden, but you cannot do it straight away because, oh no, Amazon wouldn't want you to delete your account. It hurts them. So you need to get into private conversation with an Amazon associate who can then delete your account for you, because you can't delete it on your own. And this is why this is a prime example of a roach motel. Amazon makes it so difficult to delete your account. But there are hundreds, if not thousands, of possible dark patterns out there. Just another example is how companies and apps can use color in a deceiving way to try and trick the user into buying something that they wouldn't otherwise want to do. In this example, the app 2dots uses green colors to let you proceed throughout the game, play, let's go, start level, etc. And this makes the users associate green with positive things and proceeding, but they also use it to buy moves. A user seeing the screen would usually automatically click this as they think it's letting you proceed or continue. All these green buttons leading up to the buy moves one is done completely on purpose as part of a dark pattern to get you to click on it on accident. Here is an ad which purposely has a little speck on it, almost looks like a hair or a piece of dirt, which hopes that the user will accidentally try and rub this piece of dirt off their screen and click on the ad going to the site. Just another example of the hundreds of dark patterns out there. But bam, dark patterns are everywhere on the same site. You just missed it. Our last room sold out a few days ago. A dark pattern which creates the need for the user to buy now and buy things quickly without thinking. The example I showed at the start of the video of LinkedIn's actual illegal scam and dark pattern, which created a lawsuit worth $13 million, meant that when you click this button, adding your contacts to your network, everyone in your contacts was emailed about joining LinkedIn, and it was essentially almost like a virus. It kept spreading and spreading and spreading as more users shared it and shared it and shared it without realizing that they were sending this email to all of their contacts. And that raises the question of the legality of dark patterns, because really they do bridge and they do teeter on that gap between legal and illegal patterns in user design and user interface, because most of them aren't illegal, they're just immoral, but some of them, like this LinkedIn example, do bridge that gap. But the problem many designers have is if they don't make these design choices, big companies will just hire other people to make them instead. They have no choice. And really, our best defense against dark patterns, as Mitchell said, is to understand them and be able to see them and catch them out ourselves. And that's why videos like this are so important. Thank you for watching.